I'm Katie Barr. This is Boca Matters. Joining us today is Doug Mummaw. He's an architect with a design firm whose motto is Design Matters, which makes him the perfect guest for Boca Matters. Welcome, Doug.
Thank you, Katie.
I understand you're turning your focus towards a different element of design, and that would be street design and pedestrian safety. Can you tell us a little more about that?
Sure. The initiative of street safety really is born out of urban planning. And urban planning is, we'll call it the architectural design of streets. And it specifically deals with all of the dynamics that occur, the elements, so vehicles, pedestrians, bicycle, landscape, the meeting of the public realm to the commercial or the residential buildings that abut it. And the whole comprehensive joining of those is urban planning. And there's probably no more significant urban planning goal than Palmetto Park Road.
You said it. I was going to say, what specific areas? Is it the CRA directly or just Palmetto for now?
The initiative that I'm really passionate about is Palmetto Park Road from Federal Highway, and actually has now grown to the city campus because there's, we have the green market and we have the idea of a public parking element all the way to the beach. The area that we spoke about at the CRA is limited by boundary of the CRA, which is our downtown, from Federal Highway to Fifth Avenue.
Right.
So that's the area that we talked about.
So is there any data to support the fact that, pedestrian safety is an issue?
There is. We did some preliminary research with the police department, and interesting enough, we ended up with a 24-page accident history report of pedestrians and cyclists in the community. And it was pretty impressive.
Oh my goodness.
We drilled down to just Palmetto Park Road, and turns out there's roughly 25 events, accidents involving cyclists or pedestrians in the last 5 years on Palmetto Park Road.
Oh my gosh.
And it's trending up.
Right.
Because of the amount of people.
Oh. Well, I see it every day because I'm crossing Palmetto Park Road just, on foot, and it's like a, Indianapolis 500. What can we do about the speeding on Palmetto?
There are many approaches. First and foremost, we need to change the behavior of the way you circulate in either a vehicle or as a pedestrian. It's kind of a combative system right now where people are now on the street making their way across a vehicular area, and we have a street that has certain attributes. It's 4-lane. There are large distances between major intersections which allow vehicles to gain speed, and the speed of that is a direct conflict to pedestrians and cyclists. So
do we have a speed limit on Palmetto?
We do, but I'm honest to say it's not really honored. And I think that when you talk about what was originally an arterial road meant to bring traffic from the Barrier Island into the, we'll call it the main area of Boca Raton, and to make a juncture with Federal Highway, Dixie Highway, I-95, it's meant to empty the island and get to the island.
Right.
And so we have this interesting functional conflict. We have a recreational use where people are going, and we have a functional use where people are leaving.
Correct. Palmetto's been revised numerous times. What would be different about what you're proposing?
The reason that it's been redesigned and reconstructed several times is that we continue to make the car and the vehicle the number one priority. Our behavior in the downtown and people that live here is about convenience, and convenience equals access in their vehicle to and from wherever they're going, whether they're going to work or they're going to a shopping center or out for dinner. And the functionality that is proposed originally was much more altruistic. It was urban-based. It was minimize the car, minimize the turn lanes, and try to create a sense of place. So that's when the palm trees came and the decorative sidewalks. And then as each project was built, the pressure on the Palmetto Park Road vehicular system magnified.
True.
Now, this was all predicted, and it was predicted at a much greater impact because it was a 6 million square foot office center as it originally was designed. And now it's hundreds and hundreds of apartments which function differently. And the general public is having to acclimate to that. The construction of the road has been reconstructed to create better flow of the car, plain and simple. And that is making cars move faster.
Oh, okay.
And so where people don't want to wait at Fifth Avenue, we
Right.
put the left turn in. And then we have the choke point going south from Fifth Avenue, and we have conflicts where convenience is now being impaired. And that's the reason why we try something and then we have to put it back because the flow isn't working. And remember, we're a dynamic organism. With each project comes a new set of
Sure.
challenges.
Right.
And it can be managed, but it's a group effort. Like, we have to change the way we perceive how we circulate on Palmetto Park Road. And we have to look for bypasses and other routes, the same as we do when we go west to 441. There's lots of options. And we can learn how to take the car as a priority and subordinate where we can and create movement where it's necessary.
So what would be some suggestions that, might be considered?
We have a task force, kind of a collaborative group of citizens with a lot of expertise. We made a presentation at this Community Redevelopment Agency with myself, Larry Sellon, who is a lifetime community servant, served on the Community Parents Board for 25 plus years. Is now sitting on the Planning and Zoning Board. We had Jim Wood, who is a community advocate like yourself, who is an active bicyclist,
Right.
who understands the behavior of bicyclists. We had an urban planning representative named John Colby, who has been active in urban planning and has been a kind of a voice for what's happening in the city. And then we wrapped it up with our 2020 Vision founder, Margaret Fitzsimmons,
Love her.
who is
Yeah.
like one of my idols
She's
in
great.
terms of what she is contributing to our community on a volunteer basis.
Right. Right.
On a volunteer basis,
Yeah.
and I really respect her, what she's doing.
So do you feel your issues will be heard by those in
We
authority?
do. We do. I don't think the CRA expected what we did yesterday. There's been a shift now in expressing the voice of the community. Platforms such as this,
Right.
community advocates, I call them, people that are in this for the betterment of the whole. And it used to be there was one person chirping, under public comment, coming up,
Right,
this is
right.
an issue, and the board would, or the agency would hear it, or the council would hear it. And now there's a movement. And I think that, there's been a lot of disenchantment with the downtown, with the plan of the downtown, with the function, and obviously the development
Right.
of the downtown. It's been an area of conflict
Yeah.
for many. But yesterday we were able to make succinct, specific call to actions.
Fabulous.
How do we protect the bicyclists? How do we improve the urban plan? And then how do we deal with traffic? The stats on that meeting, and if anybody didn't see it, they should go back because they're staggering. The wrap-up, if you will, was Margaret, who said, we need to look at this globally and holistically so that we can start to make movements that thread the whole solution together. It can't be resolved with one movement. And I think you see some of the signs that are the kind of the warning signs that you see, the kind of the DOT looking signs. They have them a lot on
Right.
on A1A where there's the condominium crossings. And there is
Right.
there is progress, and there was a presentation by Kimley Horn in December to talk about the crosswalks and how to improve them. And so the movement started. Our goal yesterday was to push the discourse further along positively and to tell the council and the CRA that we should be a part of it because nobody understands the behavior of Palmetto Park
Oh, for
Road
sure.
better than the people that
That
travel
design
it, that occupy it, that almost get into accidents, et cetera.
Right,
So
right.
we really think that if you include the public now, that you're going to have a better solution. And then it also empowers our leaders to find their particular goal.
Right.
And we know with Andrea, her goal has been passionate about public art. We have the ability to create crosswalks that are tailored to a solution that's artistic. We have functional obligations, such as the fire department, the police department.
Right.
It's a very significant street. It's probably, as Margaret said, the backbone of our downtown.
Yeah, it's true.
Because it deals with protecting our Barrier Island residents and police calls, fire calls. So we have a very functional priority, high functional priority of getting back and forth through Palmetto Park Road. But we also have an altruistic goal, which is not everybody's in a fire truck.
Right.
So we all shouldn't be traveling at that speed. And when we are not, we should have a different behavior.
So what's the view of the fire department? Have you presented this to them?
Not yet.
Okay.
Over the years, in my experience in being involved in the plan, and I've been here my whole life, many people were involved in that from various expertise. And so many, I'll call it issues, were flushed out of that. And one of them, as a certain priority, which we should respect, was the fire department's concern for protecting and being the first responders over the bridge and back.
Right.
And so it's a goal that we must preserve because it's so important. And then there are all kinds of solutions that could come out of that. And technology has changed, quite honestly. The fire trucks are operating signals within their trucks. And so I think that they would be the first stakeholder that we would seek, their input, because that's the first priority.
Sure. Is there like a vision or an area that you would model after? This road is something we would aspire to?
There are numerous precedents for this. Within our geographical area, Coral Gables kind of functions similar to us. Certainly on the street side, Las Olas is a very important east-west arterial road that has multiple personalities. And it changes during the day and at night, and it serves a much denser population than ours. It is a problem that can be solved. It's not impossible. We have enough right-of-way. We can change the way things are done and the way that the section works, which is essentially from the right-of-way property line that abuts the neighboring properties across to the north, say, to the other property boundary of the right-of-way. And within that geometry, we have a lot of flexibility design-wise. We also have restraints. There's utilities and power lines, and so it's not as simple as just wiping it clean and coming in with a new section, but we can maneuver around the limitations of that.
Well, that's encouraging, and it's great that you and the task force are taking this issue up on our behalf. Is there anything the residents and business owners can do to assist you?
Be a voice.
Okay.
Be a voice. I was in my frame shop, which was just close to Fifth Avenue, and I was looking around, and I'm looking across at Palmetto Promenade, and that particular design and development of that project was very important for me as a planner because it brought the goal.
Right.
It brought the people. But she made an observation that at her street alone, there's been 3 accidents in the last 45 days.
Oh, my gosh.
And so, they're concerned. Those businesses are close to the roadway. So, cars careen off of one another.
Right.
They are concerned about safety. And so be a voice. If we can create a platform such as this, such as what you guys are doing, which is phenomenal, to collect information and process it, the more we have a voice in the process, the better the solution is going to be. We can design a perfect section. That's easy. But we need a design solution that's going to be what happens on Palmetto Park Road and Boca Raton. And we'll bring precedents to the table and we'll create solutions. And then we kind of validate it through test cases.
Sounds great, Doug. And this is something everyone in Boca should be interested in because we all love the downtown.
Sure. And we
Well, I
love the
hope
beach.
you'll, and the
Yeah,
beach, of
right.
course. But I hope you'll keep us posted on your progress. And we appreciate your coming in and talking with us today.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you.
you, Katie.
That's it for today, folks. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time.